We've talked about Moravian Falls, North Carolina. A man asked my wife years ago, early 90s, and said, "Do you think if I built a cabin, Bobby would come and stay?" She said, "That's a question you'll have to ask Bobby." So he asked me, and I asked the Lord, and the Lord said yes. So the man built a cabin, and he finally got it constructed. This is the first night we're there to dedicate the cabin, and no houses were built then. It was just that's the only thing that was up in that region right there then, on that side of the mountain. So we're there dedicating the cabin. I've got him by the hand, and then we're praying, and you hear strong footsteps walking. We're the only two people in the cabin. You hear strong footsteps walking up the stairs behind me. He squeezed my hand so tight, he said, "I've got to go home, hadn't I?" I said, "Yes." And boy, I tell you what, now he's gone, and I'm sitting there by myself in this cabin, and it's fire's crackling, and I hear a noise out on the front porch. And so I go out to see who's there because I'm supposed to be by myself, and that's when those Moravian angels were there. But I'll tell you what, I want all of heaven's help we can get. This is absolutely true. There was 14 to 18 angels there, and they were dressed like pilgrims. The first question out of their mouth was this: "What took you so long?" You know, they had been without a commission till from the Moravians back in the 1700s. They had occupied that land. But I know this, that God is sending us heaven's help. Then another time when I had an experience with the cloud of witnesses, I'm in Tyler, Texas.
Can we come back to that one?
You can.
I want to talk about the other one before we go to the next one. So you're wide awake.
Wide awake.
You want to sleep.
No
trance. You walk out and they're... And so the idea is that what they started, we are to finish.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what they asked me. What took you so long? And they were talking about the commission and come to take up the mantle. Can I just be honest? Way before Morning Star, way before Rick Joyner, way before I ever heard anything about Moravian Falls, North Carolina, I'm a pastor in Texas, and the Lord visits with me and says, "Go to Herrnhut, Germany, and go to Zinzendorf's grave." I carried my TV camera. I go to Herrnhut, Germany. Never heard of Herrnhut. Didn't know a thing about Zinzendorf. He said, "Go to Herrnhut, take your camera," and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. It's still dark, and I go to Zinzendorf's grave. It's a concrete vault, and the Lord said, "Film this." I'm filming. It's grainy, dark, and I'm filming this thing. Then the Lord said to me, "Go sit on that fence, a rock fence." So I go sit on that rock fence. Remember, it's about 5:30 in the morning now, and I hear steps coming, somebody walking. And I look coming up the trail, and it's an old man, and he's got a cap on and a coat, and he comes to, I'm over there filming. The Lord said, "Film this." So I'm filming it with a TV camera, and the little guy shuffles up to Zinzendorf's grave, takes his cap off, and apparently is praying, has his head down like that, and he's there for maybe 3 minutes, puts his cap back on, and he's shuffling. The Lord said, "Film this." He's shuffling off up a trail, and the sun comes up and just burns him out of the film, the rising sun. So I said, "Lord, what have I seen?" He said, I've sent you here to resurrect this ministry, the Moravian ministry." And so I hadn't heard of the Moravian ministry, had never heard a thing about Zinzendorf, didn't know a thing about Moravian Falls. And then through the process of God, I was told to move to Moravian Falls. And they got the land on Moravian Falls on my birthday and deeded it to Jesus Christ back in the 1700s. You can go to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and see the handwritten surveyor's notes.
Wow, November the 29th.
I got it on my birthday.
Well, and Isaac Paul's birthday.
That's right. That's exactly
my
right.
My grandson. Yeah. My grandson, Isaac Paul, was born on Bobby's birthday. That's amazing.
It is.
Count Zinzendorf, in case some of you don't know, is said to be the rich young ruler who said yes. And used his wealth to create a community of people that prayed nonstop for 100 years, 24-hour-a-day prayer for 100 years. And so in Moravian Falls, they carried that mantle, that mandate, and prayed for many, many years right there in Moravian Falls. And I've had angelic visitations there as well, and as I know Bobby has. So the Moravians were there. It's almost as if they've been waiting.
They were waiting. Their commission was, what took you so long? And there's a portal there that the Moravians opened, a portal in heaven, and very accessible. I don't want to deviate off of this, but I'm back at that cabin. Yep. Remember that night when the angels came? Yep. So remember, the angels came, 14 to 18. I couldn't count them because they could move faster than the mind could count. And so finally, one group gets quiet and they're gone. This group gets quiet and they're gone. And I'm on the porch by myself again. And I thought, oh, man. And so I go back in to the room. This is the absolute truth. I go back into the room. The crackling fire is there. I'm sitting in a chair, and I'm sitting down on the couch just watching the fire burn. A knock came on the door so loud, my heart jumped up into my throat, and I said in a squeaky voice, come in. And a voice bolder, stronger, richer than any voice could ever be said, no, you must come out. And so help me, I go to the front door and I open the door. There stands Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Not a trance, not a vision. I'm wide awake. And there he stood. And he had a bottle in his hand, much like a champagne bottle. And here's what he said to me. He said, we're going to have a christening service, but you don't know anything about christening. That's what he said. And he walked right by me, walked through the living area, down a hall, went to the bedroom. And before he said a single word, he wheeled around and hit the bottle on the wall and burst the bottle. And the bottle, the oil was running down the wall like this. And I thought to myself, oh my, how am I going to explain to the man that built the cabin? The first night, his wall's destroyed. I thought it, and Jesus rebuked me. Here's what he said. You never have to apologize or attempt to explain what I do. And he said, look, and the oil had turned into a map of the world, like a war room. And Jesus would touch a spot and light up, touch a spot and it'd light up. And here's what he said. You can only target what I target, or you'll become a target. And I'll tell you, for days, every hair on my body stood out like this. It looked like I'd been electrocuted. My wife was in Texas praying, oh, God, give Bobby a visitation. I'm going, oh, God, don't kill Bobby. That's what it was. It took days.
I believe it, Bobby. I know you, and I know that's nothing but the truth. I believe it. And, you know, I want one of those.
Yeah.
I've seen the Lord in trances and things, but I want to see Him in a physical form like that. I really do. Why do you think He came like that?
I think there's an advancing of the kingdom age, and I believe that we've got to go to the next level, and that's what He's doing right now. He's looking for mature people that has reached the place of maturity, and they have understanding enough to give them this hidden wisdom. And I'm telling you, it's in the Bible. Paul said, I would not release this until I found me a people ripe in understanding. That's the word he used. And now he's releasing this. And it's the understanding of knowing His presence so that we'll understand more about the glorification.